Hi folks, welcome to today's class, day 3. Good morning, it's lovely to know that you're there chatting away. I'll just let you settle in and log in. I hope you're all well. So I'm pleased to see that the Slack is being used. I hope it's useful. I must admit it's the first time that I've used Slack, but I think it could be a really good way just to, like I said, to share and to support each other on one system rather than multiples of emails and text messaging. So let's see how it goes over the course of this month. So we're on day 3, and today we're going to start some movement. So far we have learnt what Qigong is. We have learnt the foundation practice of standing, and many of you have commented already on how different it feels. Some of you also have commented on how tiring it is on your thighs. Well, it will be these early days because you're using muscles that haven't been used for quite a while, but these are the muscles that were given to you to use for this purpose. So little and often, Qigong is not no pain, no gain. Qigong is no pain, more gain. So it's not about perseverance and suffering. It's about listening to yourself, always working to your 70%, and just taking a break, having a shake out when you need to, and then coming back into the stand or whatever it is that you're doing. And that is so individual for all of us, which is why why Qigong can be tailor-made to our own individual needs, because we're listening to ourselves. We've learned breathing these past couple of days, how to breathe correctly. And the standing, the Wu Qi and the breathing are not just Qigong, but they're life practices. Everything that I'm going to teach you is a life practice. And we seek to make these our default way of being. So whenever we stand in Wu Qi. Whenever we breathe with our belly. I've introduced to you the 3 treasures of heaven, you and earth, and yesterday we explored with the metaphor of the candles of your 3 dantians, your 3 energy centers, of your lower, your middle, and your upper dantian. And the fundamental guiding principle of Yi Dao, Qi Dao, where your mind goes, your Qi goes. So today, when we explore our movement continuously now for the rest of this course, I will teach you again using imagery, using metaphor. But there's one thing that I'm going to ask you now. When we practice Qigong, we don't practice Qigong to be good at it. There is no red belt, brown belt, green belt, black belt at the end of doing Qigong. What there is happiness, joy, gratitude, compassion, nourishment, good health, vitality, freedom, space. So how we come to our practice is crucial to what we're going to get from our practice. So don't practice Qigong to be good at it. It's very similar to going for a walk. When you go for a walk, why do you go for a walk? Probably because it makes you feel good, you're going to get some fresh air, get in touch with nature, move the body a little bit, and all those things are the right reasons. But do you go for a walk to go get good at walking? Nope, unless you are doing some walk training specifically to do Nordic walking or climb Kilimanjaro, which is a completely different thing to just going out to do a walk. When you eat, why do you eat? Well, you eat to nourish yourself. We drink to hydrate ourselves. But do we eat and drink to become good at it? No, we do it because we know that it's what we need and is what's good for us. And it's the same with Qigong. We do Qigong not to be good at it because of the insight it gives us when we practice it, for the experience, for the ability to listen to our inner doctor, the person who knows best about you is you, because you're the most intuitively connected to yourself. So when we practice Qigong and we start to learn the choreography of the movements, don't worry about what they look like on the outside. Am I doing this right? Ask yourself the question, how do I feel? How does this make me feel? Now you're going to come across movements that are going to be easier than other movements. What I'm talking about is the bigger picture of feeling. When I do my Qigong, how do I feel when I have been standing and breathing correctly and I've done some movement, and afterwards, what is it that I feel? What we're not looking for is external validation on, wow, your Qigong looks beautiful. Your Qigong will look beautiful because you feel beautiful doing it inside. You can't put a mask on doing Qigong. So don't practice Qigong to be good at it. Practice it for the joy of doing it, for the nourishment and the healing that it's doing for us, giving to us, for the insight it brings us. Don't practice Qigong externally. Practice internally. Feel inside. And enjoy it above all. Rest when you need to. So what I'm going to do is we're going to, in this course, I'm going to share with you the form that we're doing. What you'll see on the website is in addition to all the live classes, I have put 3 libraries of videos. One is the catch-up, where you can go in and catch up on any class that you want to go and have a look at. Perhaps you've missed or you want to go and have a look at it again. I put another library of videos up for extras. Extra things that you might want to go and feed yourself with. It is completely optional, but it's there for you. And there's another library of videos called warm-ups. These are the warm-ups that we use in our live classes, that I teach for my live classes. Now, they're all miniature Qigong movements within themselves. However, to teach you all of those and all of the form in 30 days will just be too overwhelming. And the important part is the Qigong form. So what I plan to do is to drop in occasional warm-ups as we go through this course. So I will teach you them, but we will use them as, I won't go into too much depth into the warm-ups with you. That's the plan anyway. Yesterday I added 3 PDF documents, that isn't extra learning for you. Please don't feel overwhelmed by all of this information. Actually, that's there, and that's just basically the notes that I have made for you should you wish to have them on paper, because I know many people do. Again, completely optional. It's only what I've already told you in the class, just written down, maybe a few extra details, but that's what they're there for. So don't feel you have to download them, don't feel you have to read them, don't feel it's extra work. It isn't. It's there for those of you who would like to read and remind yourself, now or in the future. So we've had a recap, explored what we're going to be doing with the movement, and let's get up if you're not standing up already, or if you're practicing seated, then please remain seated, get yourself nice and comfortable. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to introduce the shake first. Now, if you are pregnant, or if you're trying to get pregnant but not sure if you're pregnant, please avoid doing the full body shake. You can shake limb by limb, but avoid shaking the belly area. And again, if you are seated, please shake limb by limb. If you can get up and you want to give your whole body a bit of a shake just for a few moments, then please do so. Remember, if you are needing to sit down, but you do want to occasionally stand, then use some chairs to prop you up or to balance you. So you can have 3 or 4 chairs, one to sit on when you need to. It's always there behind you. 2 back to the chairs either side of you, even 1 chair in front of you. It doesn't matter. Just get yourself set up so you can just know that you're safe. And again, use a wall if you need to, just for balance. So this practice is called du. Du translates as shaking. Shaking is a way to energize us, to get our inner ocean flowing, to loosen up, to relax, to get rid of all those aches, pains, moans and groans. So we soften the knees. The shake, when we're doing the full body shake, comes from the belly and from your thighs. So it's just these things that you move up and down, and let everything else hang. Let your arms hang like pieces of rope from your shoulders. Breathe freely. We can use our mouth to breathe when we're shaking, because we're actually exerting ourselves a little bit more. We can use the mouth. And just enjoy the shake. The beauty of not being on Zoom is that you can shake and no one can see you. And when I mean that, it's because when we shake publicly, we get bits and bobs of the body that we don't want to be shaking in public, if you get my meaning. But actually, it's really important that we shake the entire body. We want to get the blood everywhere. We want to loosen it. So lose your inhibitions, find your inner child. This is what I refer to as the King Louis from the Jungle Book shake. That's what I feel like when I do it. Tilt to the side, shake out through the arm. Remember, you're not moving the arm per se, it's the thighs and the belly that are shaking the body, that's shaking the arm. And the other side. Good, and back up to the center, forward a little. Now relax your cheeks, relax your jaw, relax your mouth, relax your entire face. Shake. If you start to dribble, Don't worry, no one can see you, that's absolutely fine, but it's a sign that you've relaxed your mouth enough. Okay, back up. Good. Now we're going to shake the tail. I'd like you to imagine you have a 20-foot long tail. At the end of your tail, a fly has landed and it's tickling you. And I would like you to gently try and shake to the end of your tail to get that stubborn fly off. Excellent, well done. Okay, and now let's consciously, purposefully shake through the arms. You can still shake through the body too, but we're now actively engaging the arms, creating circles. Good, okay, and now one leg at a time. If you can do both legs, good luck. And what we're trying to do is shake so that the ankle and the foot go floppy. And that is easier said than done. This is where you realize how tight and locked the ankles are. Good, well done. That's great. So just for a moment, stand, settle into Wu Chi. Let your breathing settle. Follow any sensations you may be feeling. Good. Well done. Okay, so now, whilst you're standing in Wu Chi and you're settling in, Qi, your energy, any energy, travels in waves, in circles, and not in straight lines. It's not linear. So our movement replicates circular wave-like motions. And that helps to encourage the flow of our inner ocean within us. It also helps us to understand that rather than having a straight forearm hand, in the middle of it we have a wrist. So if we just slowly bend the wrist and let go of it, we create a gentle curve rather than a locked straight. That's a gentle curve. So when we just do this, not only is this going to help us to open up the wrists, but it's going to encourage the flow of our inner ocean through our body. So when we move, just remind yourself of flow. Remind yourself of wave-like movement. Now, I appreciate for some of you, you might not be able to do this with your wrist. So that's where partly your intention will come along. Imagine yourself doing that with your wrist. You might not be able to physically see it, but the smallest amount of rippling motion you can get rather than large waves is absolutely fine. We only do what we can do. So, what I'd like you to do is stand in Wu Qi, please. Connect your three treasures, so heaven, yourself, and earth. Take all your body, your joints off lock to allow your inner ocean to flow. Imagine your joints as I mentioned yesterday, sluice gates. And what we want to do is open them to encourage flow. Breathe. I'm going to introduce the tongue placement. So as we're standing, place the tip of the tongue to the roof of your mouth, just behind your top teeth. Now it's a peculiar one, and it's something that we're not ever used to doing, but we want to try and create the habit of when we're standing in Wu Qi, when we're doing our breathing, when we're doing our Qigong, is to try and keep the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Now, if you imagine you're saying the word, or you can say the word Lego, or let, or l, where your tongue goes to the roof of the mouth, that's where we want to try and keep it. That's the correct placement. Using your awareness, sink your mind into your body. Good. Puppets. Imagine that you are a puppet, and there's a puppet master that has got you attached to his strings. And in particular, I would like you to focus on strings that are attached to your wrists. Imagine there are strings here and here. And the puppet master is going to gently lift your arm strings up, your wrist strings. So just with your right arm, as if it's just your wrist that's being lifted up, let the arm relax. And then back down. Other side, up, just with your wrist, and down. Alternate. Slowly. Get the feeling that your arm is being lifted by your wrist. And your shoulder is completely relaxed. There's no tension coming from the shoulder. The movement's not coming from the shoulder. It's coming from the wrist being lifted. This gives you an idea of the wave-like movement I was talking about. Nothing's straight now. Your arm's not straight. Everything can flow. Open up the joints. So now, bring your hands out in front of you, both of them puppet-like, so the arms completely relaxed. If you can see with the way I'm standing here, it's completely soft and relaxed. I'm not out here, my shoulders haven't gone up. Still standing in Wu Qi, everything's off lock. I'd like you to turn your hands out to the side, so your fingers are pointing inwards. And we're going to do exactly the same movement together now with both hands outwards, so as if the puppet master is pulling your wrists outwards now, And now inwards, outwards, inwards. So you lead the movement with your wrists. Now if your hands are as high as your shoulders are going to start to ache. So lower your hands. Lower your hands so that they are lower dantian height, which is just below your navel. So just focusing on the movement now from your wrists, effortlessly, using the least amount of muscle effort to move your arms. Good. And just relax your arms. Have a shakeout. Slowly we'll build up the length of time we practice and stand, but have a little shakeout. Good. It's also a good idea, because these are hour-long sessions, is to have some water with you, just to always hydrate. Personally, I drink hot or at least very warm water. It's what I prefer, and it helps to decongest. It sort of melts your tension and the fascia, and so it helps. So rather than your body having to work too hard to process cold water, drinking water from the kettle is just a lot easier on your body. It just makes the whole hydration of the body a lot easier. Completely optional. I'm just sharing with you what I do. Okay, so let's go back into our Uchi. Now, as slowly as you can, just let the hands float out in front of you to the height of your lower dantian. Let your palms turn so they're facing each other. Now make sure your elbows are bent so that you've got this curve going on here, this gentle curve from your fingers to your arm. Your palms are facing each other. Your fingers are spread apart. Everything is relaxed, and you're using very little tension in your body to hold your arms here. Keep your spine straight. Try not to look down. Standing in Wu Chi. Good. Now, bring your hands gently together, but don't let them touch. Keep your mind, your feeling, your sense in between your palms as you now gradually, with soft wrists, just like we practice the puppet movement, let your hands move away. As if your palms are talking to each other, as if there's something interesting that they're connecting to. Good. And when that sensation between your palms is at its strongest, just settle there. settle your palms on that sensation. Yi Dao, Qi Dao. Sink your mind into your body, into that space. Notice any sensation. What does it feel like? Good. So now, as you breathe in through your nose, down deep into your belly, let your hands expand too, away from each other. As you breathe out, your hands come back inwards. The movement of your hands follows your breathing. Breathing in, don't hold your breath. Breathing out completely. We don't breathe in until we've finished the exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Remembering the wave-like gentle ripple through the arms, your wrists, your elbows. Follow your breath, not mine. Follow the rhythm of your breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Yi Dao, Qi Dao. Sink your mind into your body and just bring your awareness, your attention to the space between your palms. Good. Just now let your hands turn, relax, settle back into Wu Qi. Yi Dao, Qi Dao. Sink your mind into your hands. Notice any sensation. Good. Okay, wiggle your fingers, your toes. Gently have a shake out, have a sip of water. Okay, so make a mental note of your sensations, your feelings. Again, use your own Slack accounts to make your own notes underneath your name. Click that, you can make yourself your own notes, your own journal, how you feel, what's going on. That helps just to encourage creating these new habits, and you can go back and refer to it and think, oh yeah, I remember that, I'm feeling that, etc. So welcome to the first movement. That first movement that you've just done is movement 1 of our Jiben Qigong form, and it's called compressing the pearl. And we're going to do that again now. And what you'll see with our Qigong is that we repeat each movement several times, and depending on your own individual practice, when you become confident at doing this, and what I'm teaching you in this class or any other class you may join of mine, with Qigong there are only a few movements within the entire form. So there are 9 movements that I'm going to be teaching you in total. Some are really nice and simple, like we've just done. Some are going to take 2 or 3 days to teach you because they're a little bit more involved, but really good fun and beautiful to feel when you do them. When we repeat each movement, you'll be able to layer the movement. So when we layer, what I mean is that you add in the skills that you have learnt for each movement. So for some people like yourselves who might be brand new to this, you've got a couple of layers at the moment. You've got how to stand, first layer, how to breathe, second layer, third layer, Yi Dao, Qi Dao. These are all layers. Some people who I've been teaching for many years have got many layers that they can add into each movement. But what you do with your Qigong is that when you start, you're starting your Wu Qi, you start your movement and you add your first layer. And then you just gently add your second layer, your breathing. And then you'll add your Yi Dao, Qi Dao. And then you'll add whatever comes next. So it's not a case of trying to do it all at once right from the get-go. It's about layering gently, softly, gradually flow into each movement, because we're going to be doing it sometimes for a couple of minutes for each movement. So it really allows you just to go deep into it, and it becomes a very meditative movement. It becomes meditation in motion. Okay, so we've learnt the puppet hands. Again, that's just imagery, how to teach you to move like a puppet without using tension. What I'd also like to share with you now is when we do compressing the pearl, or any movement we do, but is to swim through thick air. And that's to say that if you imagine swimming or being in a bath and moving your hand through water, you have the resistance of the water. And it's common knowledge that swimming and moving and doing hydrotherapy, if you want to call it that, is very good for you, because you've got that resistance, that natural resistance of the water that you're working against, and you can work with it at your own pace. We can actually do that without getting wet, and we can use the thick air, but it takes some fine tuning. It takes a little bit more awareness to feel it, but I'm confident that you'll be able to feel this now. So feet parallel, settle yourself into Wu Qi. Space in the armpits. Connect your 3 treasures. Place the tip of the tongue to roof your mouth. Breathe. Your hands gently float out in front of you. Make that connection between your palms, space in the armpit. Using the softness, that puppet imagery, your next inhale. Slowly start your movement, compressing the pearl. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Follow your breath. And now, with your fingers open, when you move your hands, feel the thickness of the air pass through your fingers and your hands, over your palm, so this is what I call swimming through thick air. It's connecting with the space around you. Yi Dao, Qi Dao, sink your mind into your body, bring your awareness to the space between your palms, the feeling in your palms. Good. Very well done. Settle back into Wu Qi. Okay, so from this Wu Qi posture, please watch before you copy me. Yesterday I mentioned how we go into a narrow stance and how we shift weight to close out our practice. And we will do this every time we close our sessions now. So I will, and if you're sitting down, you can still do the same thing. But obviously, when you shift weight, just shift the weight into a buttock, which is going to be the easiest thing to do. So for those of you standing, shift your weight. So it's not a lean, you don't become top heavy, but you're putting your weight, soften that knee a little bit. Doesn't matter which side you go. And then this frees up, makes this other side light. This side's therefore heavy. It's taking our center of gravity over one leg. So I pick up my heel of my light foot and I bring it in just a little. Then I do exactly the same thing. I just gently bring my center of gravity over this leg. I soften my knee a little bit to give me a little bit more stability. Pick up one heel and bring it in. And this is what we call the narrow stance. So from here, we close the session, the physical part of the session. And the close is the hands go down as if you are reaching into the earth. Bend your knees just a little bit. Let the hands rise up. Take a nice, long, extended inhale without holding your breath. Palms turn, face down, extended exhale. As the hands go all the way down. So we do that 3 times in total. So that's once we've done. Let's do it twice more. Breathe in. Breathe out. And Yi Dao, Qi Dao. Use your mind as if you're gathering your calmness, the joy, and we are sinking it and feeding and storing it into the lower danjian, our storehouse for Jing. So the mind's dropping into the body, into here, but the hands are doing it externally. as the hands come down for the third time, we just place the palms, interlock your thumbs, and just place your hands just below your navel. And our mind sinks down into the lower dantian. And this helps us just to bring our awareness to the space in our lower belly, the lower dantian, to nurture it, to nourish it, to store our jing. Breathing freely through the nose. Good. And now we bow out. So hands to the sides and down. Right hand loose fist, left hand with your thumb bent. Press palms together and bow. And that's when I say thank you. Thank you for joining me in today's class. Of course, within these classes, we've got our live chat now. But welcome to the first of the movements of the Jiben Jigong form, compressing the pearl. Practice this. Practice when you're moving your hand to get a cup out of a cupboard. Can you move your arm like a puppet? I wouldn't suggest you do it if you've got a pan of boiling water. But whenever you can, try and be effortless in your movement. And today, just practice. Many people, or one person in particular that comes to mind when we do this, calls it wafting. So if you want to waft as many times as you can during the day, please waft. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to take a perch and give you time to ask any questions that you may have about today's session. Okay. So I've got a couple of messages that I'm just going to pick up on already. Audrey, you just mentioned that you haven't joined Slack yet. You want to find out what it's all about. By all means, please do. Essentially, it's a place where we can all have a conversation in private together. And I can offer you sort of upload documents, and you can get in touch with the other people who are only on this 30-day challenge with you. And I think it's not just restricted to England. We've got people in Scotland, perhaps even Ireland, I think across into Germany. So let me know wherever you're from. Okay, Hayley, brilliant question. When standing in Wu Chi, you're a little bit more comfortable with your feet slightly turned out because this helps. Otherwise, it feels like your knees are being pulled inwards. Absolutely, listen to your body. So that's a great sign already that you're already feeling that your knees are being pulled inwards. So when you're standing in Wu Chi and your feet are parallel, sometimes your knees feel like they're doing this. If I overdo it a little bit, it feels like your knees are doing this. It's just because we haven't opened up the fascia yet. So if you feel like just splaying your feet just a little bit, so long as your knees align with your toes, okay, that's your key. That's where you want to be aiming for, is that your knees align with your toes. They're pointing in that direction. So you don't want your knee inwards and your toes outwards and you've collapsed into your arch of your foot. Turn out. Now, what can help, if you are somebody that does feel that, sometimes wearing a soft plimsolled shoe when we're doing our practice, when we're trying to align, will help you. By all means, please do that, see if it helps you as well. But good question, Hayley, thank you. And yes, do whatever feels comfortable for you. Andrea, find it hard to put your tongue in the right position. Yeah, it's a really, really tricky one. And it's one that I'm planting the seed now. It's quite advanced. Although it's something that's always taught within Qigong, if you can remind yourself to do it when you are standing and breathing, rather than when you're doing your movement, then that's absolutely fine. If you forget, don't worry about it. But how important is this to the movement? Without wanting to get into too much detail about Qi, energy, and how that works, because that will hopefully come down later on in the course. We have meridians that travel through our body that carry the Qi through them, and it's these meridians that, when blocked, we experience mental, physical, emotional ill health. So that's why we're doing Qigong, to maintain good health, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Acupuncturists use the 12 meridians around the body that all relate to an organ or organs. There are a further, what we call 8 extraordinary meridians. These meridians, so if you imagine your acupuncture meridians are closer to the surface of your skin, your 8 extraordinary meridians sit deeper within your body, more at the core of your body. So those meridians act as the main reservoirs of Qi that feed the acupuncture meridians. So we have got 8 core meridians that feed the acupuncture meridians. And in Qigong practice, we can target those deeper meridians and go deeper with our practice. 2 of those 8 meridians, those deeper meridians, form an orbit around your top half of your body. So from the perineum all the way up your back, over your head, down the front, and finishes off at the roof of your mouth. The second starts off at the base of your tongue, comes all the way down, front line of your body, and meets up at the perineum again. This is called what we call the conception vessel. This is the governing vessel. These 2 channels, or vessels or meridians, are responsible for the yin and yang energies in your body. This is why I don't want to get too complicated. We've all heard of yin and yang, the opposites to what we all need to experience life with, and it's that balance of yin and yang. Well, these are responsible for the balance of yin and yang. And the placement of your tongue acts as a bridge, connecting one to the other. And then that allows this orbital flow of Qi through your body, through the governing vessel and the conception vessel. And that helps you to balance your yin and yang energies, which is why it's important to do so. I hope that hasn't overwhelmed, but that's why we do it, okay? I hope that helps. Okay, 70% rule really helps. Yeah, it's key to what we do and how to come to practice Qigong, so everyone remember. Louise, yeah, stiff ankles, core, floppy ankles. It's really tricky, isn't it? It always makes me laugh when I try and see people do it and it's just like, oh, I can't do it. I've got really stiff ankles. That's years of wearing shoes. That's years of neglecting. Our ankles need to move. So when you're sitting on the sofa or wherever you are, occasionally just relax your leg and just let them flop. Gillian, find it difficult to breathe in and out through your nose. And so if it's congested, as I mentioned when I did the touched on the breathing, then just use your mouth. Okay, you have to breathe and you have to, but if you are congested, then of course just use your mouth to breathe. As and when you become decongested, then try, if you can, to slowly start to introduce nostril breathing, breathing in and out through your nose. Okay, and Diane, you put a message on there with regards to Slack. It wants you to download the app. I think it's a very simple process. If you're not sure about downloading the app, I think you can actually just enter your details and open it up in a browser on the internet rather than downloading it. I was aware that that's what you could do. So that looks like it's brought us to an end of the session. There's no more questions that I can see coming up just at the moment. So have a wonderful day and look after yourselves, look after each other. And I look forward to day 4. Remember, keep up your practice, breathing, Wu Chi, compressing the pearl. Try and put all these post-it notes all around your house and just to act as reminders. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. Take good care. Bye-bye now.